Welcome to the Alpha Nerd Podcast. I'm your main host, Kyle, along with my gaming host, Andrew.
Hello.
Welcome to the very first episode of 2023. Hooray!
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. For our New Year's, if you missed it, we did a live stream. That turned into a mess as far as getting people to see it because of Facebook sucking ass.
Sounds right. Sounds like Facebook.
A lot of people didn't get it until the second or third of the month of this month.
Wow.
Like some of the people I tagged are like, "Why didn't you tag me?" And I was like, "I did 2 days ago when I streamed it." So there's people who just now getting it and seeing that we did anything with it.
That's
a stream.
That's wild.
So a lot of people missed out on it. So I'm trying to figure that out.
I hope we do one of those again because I had a fun time playing Apex, doing really bad at Apex, and Choo Choo Charles looked entertaining.
Oh, I want to finish it actually. I want to talk to you about that. I do want to finish it because we're almost done.
Mm-hmm.
I only did 2 side quests after you guys left. You didn't miss after you left, and then Greg left 15 minutes later. You didn't miss too much.
Okay.
Just a bunch of talking side quests of like, hey, can you go grab that jar that's over here? And it was just experience. Like, you didn't miss anything good. You didn't miss anything important, really. I have everything set up to finish the last 3 missions of the game, which are the go to the mine and...
Well, don't spoil it for me. Don't spoil it for me.
Well, you were there for them.
I want to watch it, though. I want to watch it.
But I'm saying the last 3 are the ones that we unlocked with the finding the egg. The find the eggs.
Oh, yeah.
There's and then there's some more after that, but
did they address where the eggs come from?
Nope. And
okay.
I like when games do that. Let's see what else. For this year, let's talk a little bit about. I came up with a list of stuff I'm actually intrigued or going to keep an eye out for not only myself but the show as well.
So I have a list pulled up of the games coming out in 2023. So I figure you go ahead, give me one of yours. I'm going to go through this list in month by month order and pick out one that I am personally going to play.
Okay, because actually I have them almost by month as well. Besides Dead Space the remake, which you said sounds terrible, and it doesn't, and for me, I'm going to play it because I've never completed Dead Space 1.
Really? You've never beaten the first Dead Space?
No. And I'm halfway through the second one, though. I watched your old ex play it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, fair.
So that was mine for January that I know for sure.
So for my January, this one's going to sound weird, but I am intrigued by Forspoken. I don't think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a gorgeous game. I just don't... Everything I've seen tells me it's probably going to be average at best. Mm-hmm. Have you seen anything about Forspoken?
No, I've seen some like little advertisements, but I have no idea.
So it's about a woman who gets sucked into a fantasy world. It's was it Isekai? That everyone's using that now. It's where the hero is teleported in from the regular world into a fantasy world.
Okay.
And she gets like magic powers, and it comes out in 2 weeks for PC and PS5. The writers on the game are surprisingly, it's got a lot of good writers on it. I just don't know if it's actually going to be good. It's like an open world Square Enix RPG that isn't Final Fantasy.
Okay.
So I'm curious about it. I will play it at some point probably, unless the reviews are basically like this thing will give you cancer.
Like specifically cancer.
Yeah. Yep. All right. What's your next one?
My next one, and I'm actually pulled up the list too, so I could actually kind of try to follow with you, so it's a little more cohesive. For January, nothing else except for I do want to play the Persona 4 Golden at some point, because I've never gotten to enjoy that, but you don't want to touch that. But one of the real games that I'm really interested in for the show in this, Hogwarts Legacies, that comes out on February 14th.
So that's made by Avalanche, and I do not like Avalanche. I have not played an Avalanche game that I enjoyed. I think that they probably got a big enough budget that the game's going to be like all right, and it's obviously going to sell like gangbusters. Like, come on. I think prints money, but I I am very leery about whether it's actually going to be good or not.
Will it be one of those things you're gonna let me jump into it first and see if
Yeah, you
worth the
can go
time?
ahead. You can definitely go ahead because
I
Avalanche
figured.
Games, I don't know what it is about their studio, but I have just personally never enjoyed a game they've made.
Okay.
For February, mine was actually Atomic Heart. Uh,
Really?
have you seen Atomic Heart?
No, I have not.
So it is a Soviet Bioshock game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought you may be interested in that. It's made
It's
by
going
a
on to my list.
Yeah, it's made by an indie studio, I believe, and it is set in Soviet Russia, but it's like it's very BioShocky. Like it's retro future Soviet Russia. Okay?
Okay.
It's a first-person shooter, and I believe you get powers, and it's got like some Doom stuff with it. Actually, Mick Gordon, the Doom composer from Doom 2016, is actually the composer for this game. Uh, it looks very stylized. I think the actual plot is basically the Soviet Union. Everybody has robots now, and the Soviet Union is launching like an AI to help control the country. And of course, it goes rogue because this is a video game.
Yeah, and there's also plant monsters.
Yeah, I think there's mutant plant monsters as well. That game looks very exciting to me. I like the aesthetic, and I think it promises a new and unique feeling game.
Okay. I agree with you there because I'm looking at some of it right now. I'm actually thoroughly impressed. So I will definitely jump on that bandwagon for my multiple game because I have multiple games that come out for the month of February this year that I'm interested in.
What's your next game?
For also February, I'm just going to drop both of them because they're both games you're completely uninterested in. Um, one is the Tales of Symphonia remastered,
Yep, not interested.
and also Digimon Next Order.
I really thought you were going to say Octopath Traveler 2.
I've never finished Octopath Traveler 1. I keep just kind of petering out.
Honestly, not finishing Octopath Traveler 1 is probably the best move you can make regarding Octopath Traveler.
And then when I was looking at Octopath Traveler 2, it just looks like a reskin of Octopath Traveler 1.
Yeah, it's because it is.
Yeah, so
That's fair. Yeah, both those games, nothing I would ever touch, really. But
yeah.
I appreciate that you're looking forward to them. I'm actually going to jump into March, and
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm going to do the two that I'm looking for in March.
Okay.
First one, actually, sorry, there's three. There's three that I'm looking forward in March.
Okay.
The first one is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I know you didn't even play Jedi Fallen Order or have any interest in it.
Nope. Zero.
Jedi Survivor looks pretty good. I played Jedi Fallen Order. I thought it was actually a really good game. It was probably the best Star Wars game that's come out recently. Because most of the other Star Wars games are just junk. Star Wars as a whole is really getting overdeveloped and boring. And Fallen Order was actually very solid for what it was, which was basically like a platforming Souls-like Star Wars game, which was unique. And the story was good. Resident Evil 4 remake, come on, that's got to be on your list too.
You knew that. I don't have
Yeah.
to. I don't have to tell you that one.
Resident Evil 4, aside from Village, is my favorite Resident Evil of all time. So, I mean, that's a day one buy for me. I'm not gonna screw around and wait for a discount. I'm just gonna buy that.
So we'll do that as like one of our we'll do like a special episode in April
Sure.
for that.
Yeah, because I am very much looking forward to that. And then the last one is actually the System Shock remake, which has been delayed like 5 years. Supposedly, it's coming out in March. Did you ever play System Shock or System Shock 2?
Nope.
Okay, they were very original first-person shooters that introduced RPG mechanics into first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Um,
When I actually, it's on my list, but I did not because I'm re-looking at the timeline on here and it doesn't have it on for February. I mean for March, so I wasn't sure if it was going
I
to.
think they announced it last week that it was coming to March.
Okay.
But I am looking forward to it. I'm curious to see if it's going to be good or not. Because I mean, it's been delayed since 2016. So,
We'll see.
rather, the Kickstarter was 2016. I think the launch was like 2018, supposedly, and now it's 6 years later or 7 years later.
Yeah,
Oh my
something like
gosh.
that.
Anyways,
So
those are my March games. So go ahead.
my March games, I actually have 3 as well.
Ooh.
The one we both agreed on, which was Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
The other two, one I'm definitely going to play. The other one I'm going to keep an eye out, and if I hear good things, I'll probably partake. The one that I will partake in if it comes out good is Skull and Bones.
So I'm not interested in that one at all, but I can appreciate that it may be a good game. It might be.
Yeah. I want to hear more about it first. Like when they first showed it, it just looked like a different, more serious version of the other pirate game that came out how many years ago that everyone still plays.
Game is that?
Oh my god, it's just the
Sea of Thieves.
yeah, Sea of Thieves. It looks like just looks like a serious version of Sea of Thieves.
Fair.
I enjoyed Sea of Thieves. It was fun. It was cute. It was just fun to just play, but there wasn't enough into it to make it worth to keep playing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other game that I'm absolutely all about for oh, actually, there's a fourth game. Whoops, I timelined myself. The other one is Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. Now, I know you have no interest in that just because it just looks like it was just a cash grab game. And I am not going to disagree with you. I am guaranteeing you it's a cash grab game. But from the aesthetic that they're using and from what they've shown as far as control things, where it's kind of like a Zelda game, I feel like it's going to be interesting enough and be worthwhile for me to play through. Will it be good? Maybe. But it's just from the art aesthetic and what they're trying to set up is about Cereza's past and maybe how she came into some of her powers. I will be happy to give it a try.
Yeah, that's a hard width for me.
What I figured
that
that's all.
Right?
Yeah, a fourth one.
Oh, fourth one. Okay.
Yes. The other one, and I never heard anything about it until I actually was looking at the list for this year. Fatal Frame and Mask of the Lunar Eclipse.
I don't even see that on my list.
I'm on GameSpot for my list.
Okay, I was on IGN for my. It's not even mentioned on here.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like.
Yeah, you're really big into those Fatal Frame games.
They're really scary. They're really like they were always really good with the scares and everything else. So I've always liked them. It's just they're super hard to come by.
Yeah, they're so hard to come by. It's not even on my list.
Like,
when is that one coming out? You said March?
Yep, March 9th.
Huh. Okay.
So
who makes those?
That's a good question. I should relook up the studio that makes those. But I was really hoping when they were talking about when they started because Newswave was going over it a little bit.
Yeah.
They were making some hints towards they were going to reboot it. So I got excited that they were talking about doing, maybe a remake of 1 through 3, which I feel would sell like gangbusters because there's so many people who hear about this game but never get to play it because the hard copies are ridiculously expensive. So it's Koei Tecmo that develops.
Okay, Koei makes it. Okay.
So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to play Made in Blackwater, but everything's a digital copy and I want physical copy.
You want to get physical?
Yes, I do.
Fair.
All right. We ready to move into April?
Yeah, April on this list is only Dead Island 2, and I don't really care about Dead Island 2, so I don't have an April one.
I actually have quite a few for April as well. So my April ones that we were also me and Cheetah were looking into because she wants to look into some games because she enjoyed playing and watching me play some of the games I was playing through this year. Grim Grimoire once more.
I have no idea what that is.
It looks like a cross between a 2D Final Fantasy game and Castlevania.
Okay.
I will send you a Coffee
I'm,
to
I'm looking. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it doesn't really look like anything that I would care about.
no, but that's one Cheetah and I looked into because it.
That is a sequel to a game from the PS2.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're trying. Like I said, like with the Fatal Frames, they're trying to bring back the PS2 eras. Like it's really weird this year. Like they're trying to make callbacks to some of the older systems, but they're not trying to remake some of their ones that were, big successes, so they can revamp the excitement for their game series.
It's a remaster of the original Grim Grimoire.
Oh, okay.
It is. That's what the
I've,
website says.
okay, I've never played the first one, but
Well, you're going to. You're going to play a
Yep.
remaster of it.
yep. As well as April is Process of Elimination. It's one of those story-based games, and it's a visual novel, and it's a detective visual novel.
How much of a weeb you were?
That one was no.
What do you don't ha ha ha? The last two games you pointed out are very very.
Yes, but this is also my significant other who likes these as well.
Fair.
So
You're still a weeb.
yes. So she said that looked interesting enough that she would watch that being played through. So I'm definitely going to probably pick that up because I do like detective style, figuring out what happened or, figuring out the story as you play through. So that seems like another one of those that will be interesting for me. The last for April for myself is Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection.
God, yeah, I forgot that was coming out in April.
Yep.
Huh, it's only PS4. It doesn't come out the PS5. It's weird.
Oh, the Process of Elimination?
No, Mega Man. It says only Switch, PS4, and PC.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah,
So is that all of the Battle Network games altogether?
it's all of them, all like 7 of them.
Oh my God, there were 7 of them.
Yes, there was actually no, I think there was 5 or 6.
Okay.
But
Kyle, tell me what the difference between 3 and 4 was.
the difference between 3 and 4?
Yeah.
I believe when we got into 3 is when they started doing the dual like Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue thing where there was like Colonel and or Proto Man as like the main guy you could get from that. So that's when they started separating the two into like duo copies.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I believe the first 3 are their own things. I'm actually taking a quick look right now. Because I can't remember for sure at what point they separated. So yeah, okay, yeah, it was 3 when they started. So Mega Man Battle Network 1 and 2 were their own separate games of just pure RPG fun. 3 is when they got into the separations of Mega Man Battle Network 3 Blue and Network 3 White, and then we had after that was 4 was Red Sun and Blue Moon. Then 5 was Team Proto Man and Team Colonel.
Wait, they really did Red Sun and Blue Moon?
Yep.
Wow.
And then 6 was Cyber Beast Pfizer and Cyber Beast Grethagan.
Flows off the tongue, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Oof. But I'm actually looking forward to these because I loved the Battle Network games. I played all the way up to 3. I never got to play 4, 5, and 6, so it makes me even more excited that I get to play a nice version of this.
Yeah, you just get to bang them all out. Like,
yeah.
Finish 1, go to 2.
Yeah, and you know what's even better is I'm going to get you a copy so you can play 2.
You're going to throw your money into the void is what you're saying.
No, I honestly think if you played number 1, I think it would catch you enough that you would be interested in finishing the others.
What world would that occur? Like, I can't picture that. Isn't it just like a Pokemon game?
Pseudo. It's a cross between like Pokemon, Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics. It's got a lot of different game elements into it, which made it really good.
So Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my most hated games of all time.
Okay.
I
It's
I hate tactics games. I hate turn-based strategy games. It's actually why I'm not
that's
really that
that's
interested in
why
Pokemon.
that's why I said pseudo, because it's not turn based.
That doesn't improve anything. I also hate real-time strategy games.
I think what I'll do is I have a copy of one somewhere. I would like you to give it a try,
Okay.
and then that way I can know if I can waste my money in April or not.
I mean, I'll give it a try. I'm telling you right now, it is probable it is not going to be my jam.
I'm not saying it will be, but I think it's good, and I think it's worth a risk of you trying it.
I guess that's fair. Like
It's
there are good
definitely better
games.
than Sonic 06.
Is it better than Bayonetta 3?
Yes, hands down.
I mean, that's not difficult to do, but
I mean, we'll get into that. Let's move to May.
I mean, there's it's Zelda. Zelda
Yeah,
is
yeah,
May.
Zelda. That's
Suicide
all I
Squad's there
see.
too, but yeah, who cares about Suicide Squad?
Yeah, nobody. I'm gonna have a copy just to sit on my shelf so I can have the last recorded of anything with Kevin Conroy on it.
I am going to ignore it until Tristan demands a buy a copy.
Exactly. So May 26th.
Hopefully he'll forget about it.
So we can actually skip May pretty fast and get right to June.
So June has Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16. Diablo 4 I'm going to play because it looks good. I actually liked Diablo 3 once it got out of its really bad phase. Diablo 4 looks pretty solid. I think they're making a lot of good choices there. So I'm probably going to play it. On the other hand, do I think it's actually going to launch in June? No, I don't. I think that June 6th date is not feasible. If it launches June 6th, I think it's going to be broken, like pretty bad. Final Fantasy 16, I am actually not excited for that at all. I will eventually play it, but I think it looks like it's more interested in telling a linear story because it's not open world anymore. It's like large area based, which is cool. I think it's going to be stylish and fun. I just don't I can't everything I've seen about it makes it seem like they're really trying hard to be taken seriously. And I've never played a serious Final Fantasy game. Like most of the Final Fantasy games are pretty cheap and pulpy. Like 7 and 8 are pretty pulpy. 9 is kind of silly. 10 is very silly. 11's an MMO. 12 was good, but once again, they're not incredibly serious games. They're mostly pulpy, and whatever serious they try to go for is mostly just melodrama.
Yeah.
This one's like, this is inspired by like Game of Thrones and other stuff, and I'm like, I don't think this is gonna end well.
Yeah, I don't it's on my list. It's on my list of something I want to play.
Yeah, it's on my list too because I'm gonna play it. I
Don't
don't
know
know.
if you're gonna play it when it comes out.
I'm definitely not gonna play it when it comes out, and I gotta say I don't have high expectations for it.
Unless they were like, hey, this is like literally the tears of God.
Like, yeah, if they're like, this is the best Final Fantasy game ever released, I might be like, okay, I'll wait for the first discount then.
So then now we're moving on because they don't really have anything announced for the rest of the year. They only have the first half. The suspected games of coming out of 2023, and the first one I have listed is Alan Wake 2.
So Alan Wake 2 was actually confirmed for 2023. There was a tweet from Remedy a couple days ago that confirmed Alan Wake 2 will release in 2023.
Well, that's definitely going to be played.
Oh yeah, that's a day one for me. I adore Alan Wake. I adore all of Remedy's games. Period. So that's a day one. I'm just gonna buy that day one.
Let's see, Wolf Among Us 2.
Oh, you're definitely not going in alphabetical order here, are you?
Oh yeah, I'm going off my list now. My list
Okay.
got just, but I'm going to scroll down through while I'm looking.
Wolf Among Us 2, I'm excited for. I mean, it's an entirely different team than Wolf Among Us. It has nothing to do with that first team whatsoever. So I'm curious to see how it will land.
Hopefully on its feet.
Do wolves land on their feet when you drop them?
I mean, they can.
That is a chance.
Yep.
I would say a game I will end up playing is Assassin's Creed Mirage. I don't think it's going to be good, but I will play it at some point. I like the Assassin's Creed games. They're just they suffer from the Ubisoft bloat, which is there's just too much boring garbage to do in them.
Yes.
I'll play it at some point though. What's your next one?
Next one. Now that I'm back on track with the alphabetical order, Creature Keeper for PC.
That sounds like the most generic title I could possibly pick. What is that game?
It's a little generic Zelda Pokemon game where you do Zelda stuff, but you can turn the monsters of Zelda to your side. So you can.
Okay.
So it
That's
looks
weird.
interesting. If
That's
it's not, I'll be interested more as long as it's not hyper expensive. If it's like $60, I won't touch it. But if it's like 25, I'll pick it up.
That's okay. That's fair. The next one on mine is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's on this list. I don't think that's a 2023 game in the slightest. I think that's isn't that a 2024 game? I thought they announced it was 2024.
Yeah, but who knows with them? They might just hurry up and get it out just for.
All right. I liked the Final Fantasy VII remake. I thought it was enjoyable. I mean, it was a gorgeous game, and I liked the mechanics on it. The story, I appreciated that it wasn't actually a remake, even though they tell you it was a remake. So I'm looking forward to Rebirth. It's nothing super serious. I'm not on the edge of my seat for it, but I will enjoy playing it at some point, especially when they put it up for free on PS Plus.
Hopefully.
Oh, they did for the original 7. It just took 2 years. So
yeah, we'll see. From that, the next one on that, since we hit the F's and G's, gory cuddly carnage.
Explain that game to me.
It looks to be if Bayonetta was trying to be more of a scary claymation game, and instead of playing a sexy 9-foot tall witch, you're playing a cat with a skateboard that's also a laser sword, and the evil guys for this, instead of demons, are evil unicorns.
Is the cat a sexy cat skateboarder?
No, it's not a sexy cat. It's more like an edgy 90s punk cat. It looked really cool. Does
the cat have a Walkman?
What's up?
Does the cat have
a
Walkman?
So. I actually believe so.
Okay, that's pretty great.
It looks really good. It looks really like, think of Alice and the Madness Returns. But
I like that game.
What?
I like that game a lot.
So you'll like this, I guarantee you, because it looks almost exactly the same but updated, and then just more fast paced. So it's up to like Bayonetta standards as far as fast paced. And the unicorns bleed rainbow blood.
That's pretty great.
The other one I just saw for this month is coming out is just weird one called Gunbrella.
That sounds. Is it a umbrella that shoots bullets?
I'm assuming so from the look of it.
Okay.
And
are these games you're really looking forward to?
This one's
at this point, I question that.
Listen, it looks interesting. Does it look like the best game ever? No. But if it's one of those times where I hit a slow period because everything I am looking forward sucks and nobody wants to play it and I don't want to play it because everyone hates it, then Gunbrella is right up there. It's a 2D action. It kind of looks like Ninja Gaiden.
All right. On this list, I see Marvel Spider-Man 2. I don't know if that's actually a 2023 game, but I really enjoyed Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. I thought they were very, very well done, even if Miles Morales was essentially just an expansion pack sold as a separate game. I think Spider-Man 2 is going to be great, because I think it's actually the Green Goblin now. They didn't have the Green Goblin in the first 2.
Yeah.
Which
is weird.
They set it up though. So the Marvel Spider-Man games are kind of their own offshoot Marvel Spider-Man universe thing. The first game sets up more of the Green Goblin. The end of Miles Morales pretty much is the Green Goblin. Like the Green Goblin's in the end of credit sequence. Like, hey, this is gonna happen. So I actually don't. I know it was announced. I never actually saw what the reveal was for it, but I'm excited for it. It was a good game. It'll come to PC probably a year or two after it launches for PS5, and I'll probably pick it up then. I much prefer to play games on PC versus the PlayStation.
Fair enough. Going down on the M's list, Master Detective Archives, Rain Code.
That sounds like an investigation game.
It's Danganronpa, the investigation game.
I never played any of the Danganronpa games. Are they like good?
Um, a lot of people swear by them, but they're also weeaboos, so you know.
I was gonna say that should be right up your alley then.
Yes, because Cheetah's like, that sounds interesting. That looks interesting. And then she's like, yeah, I'm interested in. I was like, we should play the Danganronpa games. But then I was like, you know what? I know all the twists and turns and the reveals and all the storyline to the Danganronpa games.
Is Cheetah a weeb too?
I guess.
Oh my gosh!
Not
I
that she
never
wants to
knew.
say she's not.
I never knew.
Yeah. So that's on there just because it'll be a nice fresh start of a newer game. So I won't know anything to it.
That's fair. Do you play investigation games where like you get way through it, you're like, oh, I bet this guy did this thing, or like, oh, I know what the twist is.
I do that with everything. I don't tell people,
fair.
but I debate if I do it or not.
Okay, that's fair.
Then also in the M's from Yacht Club Games, Mina the Hollower.
I gotta say, I haven't played a Yacht Club game in a long time, but I remember Shovel Knight being really good.
Shovel Knight was really good.
Yeah, so
that was actually one I was going to debate to you. We could actually both get the updated version and play the 2-player.
They added a 2-player mode too?
Yeah, there's a 2-player mode.
Huh. I never knew that.
Both of us are playing at the same time as Shovel Knight.
I mean, okay, hey, you're both actually Shovel Knight? It's not like Shovel Knight 2?
Nope. You're both Shovel Knight.
It's weird.
And then the second player can customize his armor and look as different characters and stuff.
I would hope you could look different, because otherwise it get confusing really fast.
Yeah, well, one's green, one's blue too on top of it. So
well, you didn't tell me that.
But Mina the Hollower is their next one that they were super excited about. So
is that coming out in 2023?
It supposedly says.
Okay.
They announced it 2 years ago?
I don't know. I haven't kept track. So next on my list, this one I am on the fence about, but I think it has more promise from recent stuff, is Redfall. So Redfall is Arcane Studios' next game. It's 4-player. The reason I was kind of iffy on it was because I thought it was supposed to be kind of like Left 4 Dead, but it was really slow paced, and those conflict in my mind. But from a recent interview, I think either the game director or one of the higher ups for Arcane, Leon, said basically Redfall is supposed to be more like Far Cry, not Left 4 Dead. They didn't go into it making it like Left 4 Dead. It's actually supposed to be closer to a Far Cry game. And that is promising to me because the biggest issue with Far Cry games is the Ubisoft bloat. Like, they have a map that's grotesquely huge. It's not very entertaining to do stuff in. Redfall is set in one city in Massachusetts, and the map has already been shown to not be that big, and I think that's actually going to be beneficial for it. I think if they're trying to make what is essentially a Far Cry-ish looter shooter with 4-player co-op in a smaller area, I think that has a lot of promise.
Yes.
Now, and I'm more excited.
And from some of the stuff, because I was looking at it when they first announced it, like there's going to be like map areas, like if you go to like a dimensional door of the one vampire, you get to go into his like little kingdom, and it's a little more narrow, but it's open, but it's more of a narrow space. Like, it's not just here's another huge map.
I am okay with that.
I am too, because it allows you to create detailed maps that have purpose instead of just like, here's this big open area, do what you want.
Yeah, so I am more excited about that. I know it doesn't have a release date right now. The rumor was March, but I have heard from a couple of very accurate journalists that it is actually delayed, and it's probably going to be May now.
I can live with that because we have nothing really for May for either of us to play except for you. You have Zelda.
You're not going to play Zelda?
I actually was going to ask you. I was like, I might just watch you play it.
All right, that's fine, but I mean, it's Zelda. Like,
I never beat the Wind Waker.
I don't know if you're allowed to talk on this anymore now, Kyle.
Yeah, well,
I think it's illegal.
Whatever, I don't care.
Okay, what's your next one?
RoboCop Rogue City.
He was looking at that, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably gonna be the one that Kyle talks about. I
I'm
can't,
excited for that.
I can't imagine that's gonna be good.
I can.
I'm sorry, I cannot imagine that's going to be good. Who is it even made by?
Let's take a look.
Oh god, it's Teon and Nakon as the publisher. That's gonna be some cheap Euro trash.
Yeah, sure is.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I'm
excited.
I'm cool there. That's fine. just no. I'm good. Very
Um,
good.
After that, I have Silent Hill Ascension.
Is that when they didn't give a date for that, did they?
No, to be
Okay,
announced.
is that one the new one, not the remake, right?
Yes, it's going to be a new one.
Okay. Um I am kind of on the fence there because I don't know who is making that. Because Bloober Team's on Silent Hill 2, and I don't have any confidence there with Bloober Team.
I know you do.
Who is actually making Ascension?
Got to look at that one.
Well, do it.
I'm looking, bitch.
Do it.
Do. Konami's the publisher.
Yeah.
DJ2 Entertainment, Bad Robot Productions, and Behavioral Interactive.
Okay, all those are bad. I can't foresee that being good. If they make it good, it'll be a miracle, in my opinion. That's it. That if they make it good, it'll be more of an upset to what reality expects than if it's bad.
Fair enough.
My next big one, I actually only have 3 left on this list, but I'm going to do them one by one. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. So I love the Stalker game series. There hasn't been a game in the Stalker series in, I think, like 15 years, but they were really good. It's deeply impressive that not only is Stalker 2 finally coming out this year, but it's being made in the Ukraine, currently still at war with Russia. So kudos to them. I can't imagine that is a easy situation to do game development in.
Right?
Like, okay, the latest build, and the whole building shakes from a bomb. There's a pause in the meeting. Okay, the latest build is finally compiling. We're good to go. Let's do some QA. If you're unaware, the Stalker game series was an old game, very, very, very long time ago. It was based on a short story called A Roadside Picnic. And basically the premise is you play a stalker, which is a person that breaks into the Chernobyl exclusionary zone to hunt for bizarre artifacts. Because in the Stalker game, in the Stalker story world, there's actually a lot of like weird metaphysical and reality altering stuff occurring in Chernobyl. Like the Chernobyl accident broke the rules of physics in the Chernobyl exclusionary zone. So there's like mutants and monsters and weird anomalies that would kill you. The central premise of the game was about survival in a time where survival games were not popular. So like every bullet counted, you had to heal yourself, you had to cure diseases, like fighting stuff was risky, and it had AI other stalkers that would hunt you down or that you could hunt down and loot them. It was a very, very ahead of its time series of games. And I'm curious to see how 2 is. 2 looks gorgeous. I just don't know if it's going to play closer to the old ones or they're going to go more cinematic with it. So, very stoked. Those games are also spooky. They were pretty spooky games.
I remember them. I just never got to play them in great detail.
Oh, they were so good. So good. Buggy is all get out. In fact, they're still really, really buggy to this day. But go ahead. What's your next one?
On here would be the Suikoden series because I've never played them.
Oh, those are really good. Those are very solid. I think you're going to be in for a good time. That's all I will say on that. My next game is the big Mamma Jamma. Okay, I think it's probably the second most anticipated game coming out this year behind Zelda, and that is Starfield. Everybody wants another Bethesda game. Look,
yeah,
I give Bethesda shit all the time for just making buggy garbage, but honestly, their games are so entertaining with mods. And Starfield is going to be a big one. It's gonna be the only Bethesda game for the next like 3 years, anyways, or 4 years probably. Because Elder Scrolls 6 is not going to come out this gen. I guarantee you, it's going to be like 2025. And by that point, there'll be a new Xbox and a new PlayStation.
Yep.
So Starfield, I'm looking forward to it. Their mod tools are apparently even better than before, which I'm really stoked for, because all I want to do is make sure that any alien that comes after me on a planet is Thomas the Tank Engine or Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has to be Macho Man. Oh yeah.
It depends on the enemy, but it's got to be Thomas the Tank Engine or Macho Man Randy Savage.
Fair enough. Next one on there is one Cheetah liked a lot. She loves the look of it, and then as she showed it to me, I was rolling my eyes like, ugh. But then as I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? I really like the art style and stuff, and the gameplay seems fun. The Plucky Squire.
What is that? I've never even heard of it.
I know. I never heard of it either, but it looks really
Plucky
fun.
Squire. Oh.
It looks cute and fun.
It looks cute. Yeah, it looks very cute.
When you look at the gameplay, it's actually really cool, like how they set everything up. So I'm actually going to play that just because
it looks adorable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks entertaining and fun and adorable.
Yeah.
All right.
The actual last one on my list that I have, this is my RoboCop moment. Lords of the Fallen. Okay? There is a game called Lord of the Fallen. It was basically a cheap Eurotrash knockoff of Dark Souls. It wasn't good. This looks like a cheap Eurotrash knockoff of Elden Ring. It's also probably not going to be good, but I am probably going to play it at some point, especially when it hits like $5.
Yes. I hope so. Next,
that's it for my list. I'm ready for our next segment.
Yeah, The Wolf Among Us is on there, which we already talked about. And then WrestleQuest is still on there, and that's the last one for me, is WrestleQuest.
I think it's going to be a good year for games. I think.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.